can I pull off a digital logo on canvas? Well, we won't find out today. So today I'm making a logo for my wife's business. Well, technically I've already made the logo. I'm just redoing the logo because I have it digitally. And I'm going to take what you see here. I'm going to try to, well, I'm going to, hopefully it'll come out all right. I'm going to transfer it to this canvas. It's a cheap thing I got at a local thrift store. I go to thrift stores a lot. I happened to see this. She was like, the lady knows us. And I was like, how much you want for that? She's like, $1. I was like, all right, that works. It's beat up. It's a 16 by 20, which of course costs more than that normally. But this, again, it's marked up. It's got some stretching in it. But for my wife's office, it's fine because it's just going to be painted over. And we don't plan on selling a piece like this. I do like recycling things, but I don't want to sell something that's in this kind of condition to somebody. But like she said, she's fine with it for her office, so that's cool. Brought out the inks that I got from Inktober. Got the black, got the red, the blue, so that I can make the purples in this logo. And brought a mixing jar so I can make that purple. And I brought my handy dandy sable liners and water brush. Sakura Pigma Sensei, which is a 3mm, as you can see, 3mm chisel liner. And I brought the brush too, brush pen, so I can have a little bit more controlled lines than I would get from, say, sable liners or whatever. This is all I've got for a reference. You can't see the letters very well, but they do have a sort of an organic looking scripting to them for those letters. It's just the font that I found. I didn't do that part by hand. Usually I will, but I found a font she liked and a font that went with it on the bottom. She was cool with that, so I'm going to try to replicate that as best as I can. I am not projecting it on here. I'm doing it by hand, so it's a best guess. And in this case, it's best to just kind of sketch it out. So yeah, I want to use these inks up that I have for Inktober as much as I can, and I'm going to look for a circle of some kind. Hopefully I can, so bear with me. Hell, look at there. Found me a 5-gallon bucket lid. We have a bunch of buckets in here. I'm going to use this as my guide, as a mask. Do that first, and then we'll see how it goes. The cutesy way of doing this would be to use my brush pen, and this is center lined as best as I could get it. I was very careful to measure this when I put it on the thing. She's not super picky, but she can be a little OCD like me. I can be a little OCD sometimes. Try not to be, but it can be. So I know I'm going to paint the outside of this, so to speak, with ink. Not specifically painting it, but you understand what I'm saying, I hope. There's our circle. That's as manufactured as I can possibly make it. Is it perfect? No. Am I? Of course not. That was perfect. Nothing is perfect, I tell you. Nothing. Now, I'm going to get to work. I'm going to do this black. Now, don't do what I'm doing. Do not dip your brush directly into your reservoir. You should put it in something else. However, I didn't know that when I started. I didn't think about it, at least, for contamination. And I guess I just didn't care. But the idea is that you can get like mold and bacteria and things like that growing in there from what's on the residuals of the paper or your brush or whatever. And yeah, don't do that, because I did actually have mold growing in one of the jars. So I had to get rid of it. Oh God, let's see, can we do it? God, there's glue on there sometimes. Any ink, though, doesn't seem to do it as much. Yeah, that stuff is like, I went to take a breath and I was like, now, I don't know if this is actually going to cover all of this, so we're going to try it, because if not, I can always cover it with acrylic. I just want to use what I have, because that's how I do things. Now, see how beautifully black that is. Now, I told you, this is very, very dry, so hopefully it'll push it some. If you were just using it as a brush, if you were doing something cool with it like that, I don't know. If you're using it as a, what do you call it, calligraphy, as it were. If you're doing calligraphy type stuff with it, you can get through this. You can do some really cool stuff with it, but I'm just using it as a base for now. Be nice and loose right here on the edges, And she's not looking for perfection. If she wanted perfection, she could just print it out, but she wanted me to do it kind of stylized. And I'm down for a challenge. So can I pull off a digital logo? Can I pull off a digital logo on canvas? Well, we won't find out today. I'm gonna try. I do have rattle can left, and I thought about doing that, but it's very, very, very messy. Like, it's funky. It's stanky danky. I actually used it to make that easel, the artboard that I made for my easel. And I used it for this stuff. So it's very, very black, and it's very shiny. And whilst it does do a good job, it's super messy. I'm sorry, it's stinky danky Yankee, man. It'll make your studio smell like just pure chemical, like I don't know what it is that's in it. It's like a combination of like acetone and some other stuff. It's making like a smell like a nail salon, I guess. What I'm trying to say. It's really strong though. Like I don't recommend using that indoors. I'm in the garage right now doing this, and even that is not enough ventilation unless the doors. I'm saying with the door open too. Like I had to have the fan on. I just took it outside to spray it, and even then it was still strong. Outside in the open air it was strong. So keep that in mind. I might actually add a little bit of water to this. Now, I know that India ink is... Actually, I think that's alcohol based, isn't it? Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to experiment because that's what I do. I'm going to get my alcohol. I'm going to dump it in there and see what I do. All right, we don't need much. Don't need much. So I'm just going to do a little shaky shake. What you think? If you think I'm doing this for the video, I'm an idiot like this all day long, just for the record. Just told that to a guy at Dollar General earlier today. My wife's like, yeah, no, we're really like this all the time. Oh! Is it going to activate it or is it going to dry it up? Oh, I don't even know what I just did. That's crazy. I didn't know it was going to do that. That's pretty cool. Hey, did you know? What did I just do? What is dissolving this paint then? I mean, the anti-ink then. It has to be something, if not alcohol, congealed in some way. So then what is... I'll be damned. It's not water-based, right? Even if it were, alcohol is miscible in water, so I need to look that up. I just wanted to wing it and see what it would do. Don't do that, kids. The alcohol congeals it. It kind of clots it, basically. I don't know what that is. Well, that's the end of that black. I don't actually have any more. I thought I had more than I do. Wow, that's exciting. It's kind of like drying it up. I was not expecting that at all. Huh. Well, I'll be damned. Well, I'm out of ink. So, now what? I did that too because I don't have any black. I use natural colors when I paint. Not because I'm bougie. Just this is how I like to do it. I don't think, oh, you need to be natural about it. It's not really what it is. Just how I do it. Man, I don't know what that even did to that. That's crazy. I'm going to have to look that up. Who cares? It's art, right? Not that concerned about it. It's not always pure science. Sometimes you just got to learn things. That black ink is gone. Let me figure that out and I'll be back. So since I like to tell you all the crap that I do wrong and all the things that go right, here's the thing. Turns out that India inks, specifically this one from Speedball, from what I understand, is actually shellac based, which I thought depends on I guess it depends on what kind of dissolvant it uses. I guess the binder that's in here, it's a mix of like Arabic gum and carbon soot that makes it so black, and also some water and non-alcohol. So since it's water based, alcohol is miscible in water. However, I guess it messes with the binder, or if this is shellac based, I'm not sure if it's water based shellac. They do have alcohol based shellac, I'm pretty sure. I have to double check that, but I thought that was the case. At any rate, I just know that alcohol and shellac don't like each other. Like I had alcohol based, well, I think it was. I've tried to use shellac to seal pen before and no worky. What ends up happening is this didn't do that. Thankfully, what ends up happening is it'll clog the. Let me show you. It clumps it up quite a bit, and I mean it's fine. It's not hurting anything, but it gives it more of a flatter. You can kind of see the texture here. It causes the carbon to kind of not be as smooth looking, and it kind of clumps it up. And basically, it just kind of separates it from the binder. What I'm trying to say. At least that's what it seems to do from what I was reading. So now, a couple of options. I have a little bit of this black left. Not a ton of it, so I might just use it to get some of this down. Yeah, that'll work, but I think the easiest thing to do is to treat it like spray, well, as if I were doing a spray style. To get really close, slam a bunch of it on there, and then brush it. But I don't want to ruin the brushes that I have. So what to do? Thinking I could tag it by holding the lid up there. And I think that might be what I have to do. So I'm going to hold the lid, gonna spray it, and hope for the best. I will get a glove because this stuff gets messy. So, okay, let me use this. Maybe I can hold it still. Okay, we'll try it. You know what? The hell. I gotta open this garage. That's basically right. And that's what we're going to run with. I don't care if it's a little running because I can wipe it down. You bitch, don't move that much. I wouldn't spray it like this if I was doing it to finish something, but because I'm going to paint this, I'm not as worried. As long as it's close, that'll have to do. This privacy screen is was designed just for this. You get a little bit of overspray, not a big deal though. It's not perfect, but nothing in life really is. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to let that air out. This stuff is terrible. That's with the garage door open. Might get some runs in there, but I'm not really worried about that. It's an art piece. It's okay fitted. However, I might do the lid a little again. Let's do this lid trick one more again, because why the hell not? Yeah, this stuff is really, really, really strong. I don't recommend using this stuff. Oh, Lord. God, this stuff should come with a warning label. Ugh. All right, there's my base. I'm gonna let this here thing dry. I'm gonna come back. Alrighty then. So I was able to get that to basically dry it pretty quick. That's pretty well good to go. I'm gonna use this layout. This General's layout. It's a softer pencil. It's like more like a much softer pencil. It's more like a 4B or something like that. So I'm gonna use this to lay out my design for my wife's logo. And we have, so I got the logo back out just so you can see. I'm going to try to, while using this, I'm going to try to lay this out. So fun, I know, pun intended. So it's about yay amounts. I did airbrush for a little while, for about, I don't know, 6 months or so. I learned enough about airbrushing for a while to know you want to lay your letters out. And I suck at lettering, so I hope I can do a decent job of this. I do want to kind of get an idea. If you normally what you would do is kind of like draw a line across to make sure that you're good. You know, that's just an idea. And just kind of copying this first R. This first R is, I'm not sure you can see this very well on camera, but this first R is stylized more than the second one. And I'm not sure why. I don't know how that even happened. But whatever. She likes it that way. If you know me, you don't go for absolute correctness necessarily. I try to leave a little organic human touch in there. So the bottom of that R is there. I'm going to try to erase some of this back if I can. I'm hoping that the ink will cover some of this. The red ink that I have it is quite opaque, so hopefully it'll work. But if not, I will just readjust. This is what I do. The nice thing about a softer pencil for something like this is it erases very, very easily. So like if you just want that to go away, I could do that with my hand. It'll come right off. So grabbing an eraser and just kneading it off will do a good job usually. I don't have to be absolutely perfectly correct about it. It's not terribly wrong, I don't think. That's more or less sort of accurate. Well, it's not quite thick enough. I will just use this as a guide and I'll thicken this up. That's closer, I think. At least closer to the idea I was going for at the time. So let me try inking this and then I'm going to see if I can get the lettering inked up and hopefully it'll look all right. You can't really see this very well, I don't think, in the camera, but the letters are very organic looking. So I think for these, I wanted to use my sable liners, but I don't have enough black ink to do it with. So gonna have to do it this, and it's going to have to kind of just, hopefully it'll work. By organic, I just mean it has a lot of texture. The sable liners are very, very textured, and so they're a lot of fun to draw with, or to ink with, really. So that's much more controlled looking, which is fine, but that's not exactly what I had in mind. That manuscript is really cool for a lot of stylization, so that's what I wanted more of. It's my design. I do what I want, in the words of Cartman, something like that. It's okay to have a couple of quote-unquote mistakes in there. You know how I feel about mistakes, like Bob Ross. Happy accident. It just lets you be more free. When you stop thinking so much about correctness, you start to do things a little bit more interestingly. I'm just going to blacken that out, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. Just want some kind of guidance. When I learned to airbrush, one of the things you learn to do is how to script write. And so you kind of work on stuff like this a lot. You work on scripting. Script's kind of like cursive, but it's a little more like stylized print sometimes, depending on what it is you're doing. But everybody does it differently. But there is sort of like an alphabet practice you can do. It's different to do it this way though. But it gets a similar idea, you know, similar kind of a thing. Has sort of a Tim Burton styled feel to it there. Now I was going to ink this up, but I don't have any black paint. Otherwise, I would just do it with black paint. But I don't want to sit there and mix up all my paint up just to get something semi-black. Truest black is going to have carbon in it. Otherwise, it'll look, well, like I painted it with a traditional black, as it were, mixed. So I'm doing my own thing here. If I need to add in some white there, I can. I actually have some white ink left, but also I can use the white ink to tone up or to tint the color as well. But I think that kind of works, actually. I know this isn't strictly a painting, but it's something I needed to do. So I figured I would film it and share it with everybody. She got her Squishmallow painting, which she really likes, and sitting over top of the chair where I sit to chill in there. We watch TV in her office, so we don't watch it in the room anymore. And now our room has become my studio, my music and art and everything. I don't know how much ink is left in this brush pen, so if there's not, I'll just use whatever's here, and then I have that Pigma as well. Unrelated to anything, I did get some gouache to try because I've seen some people using it, and it's traditional for animation backgrounds and things. I haven't done a traditional animation since I was in middle school. It was a very, very long time ago. But, you know, flipbook or using the carousel style, I forget the actual name of it, but some of the earliest motion picture was done using a carousel style. I can't think of what else to call it, but you crank it and you spin it. And if you watch it through the viewer, like from an angle, you can actually see an animation playing. It's pretty cool. It only works with almost like the earliest form of a GIF. It's a GIF if you want to be in that crowd. I will try to race this back, but anyway, it's the earliest form of not only animation but motion picture. It's really cool. So we did that in art class when I was very young. As a youngin'. See, these layout pencils are really cool because that's what they're for. They're not really meant for permanent positioning, as it were. They smudge quite a bit like a charcoal. So really, just get your idea down, your layout, as it were, and then you can put something else down in its place. If you're really worried about permanence, yes, of course you can get fixative, but ink will do it for you. I know I'm resorting to this is a terrible idea. Don't do this. Don't do these kids. Do it this way. This is what I have laying around, and it's too late to go to the store. So, I mean, it's literally too late to go to the store. They're not open, and I need to get this done. It's cool. I think she'll like it, though. Oh, and what I was talking about before is the scripting thing. Is you'll thick and thin and thick and thin, and it's something that makes sense if you actually see it in motion. But you learn to kind of thicken your lines up. If you're interested in airbrushing, I think you should try it because it'll make you appreciate. Like I always say, I don't like to go. It'll make you appreciate being able to draw on construction and stuff, and just not just going straight for it. That's what airbrush teaches you to do, is you just go straight for it. It's a good practice. It'll make you appreciate being able to do construction drawing. It also forces you to make confident lines. So I think really honestly what made me much better at drawing faster was airbrush, because you have to just go for it, otherwise it ain't getting done. I'm gonna try taking this towel and just kind of rubbing off some of this graphite. Now, of course, I might just be smudging it around, but let's find out. That's just kind of lifting. That's not good. I might have to actually break down and use paint. I don't know, but I'll try one more time. The problem that I have with a lot of these Sakuras is that they don't tend to stay on here. So if you're concerned with permanence with these, just make sure that you use them on paper, honestly. Sitting them on gesso like this, it's not what they're designed for, and they tend to just want to rub off. Keep that in mind. If you're going to worry about that, just paint it or use ink. Indeed, ink works, seems to anyway. I'm going to try this again and not rub all this stuff everywhere, ideally. So I'm not going to be able to get a gradient out of this. What I'm going to try to do is touch this up. Whatever, I'm going to mix this graphite that's in here onto the background, or into the background as a gradient. That's what we're going to call it. This would have been easier on paper, for the record. But whatever, who cares? What does it matter? Who cares? The bears. Okay, like I said, if I have to, that can be an under, and then we will add to it. Yes. This seems to be blacker too. Oh, I keep saying blacker. Maybe just because it's still wet. I don't know. I can't tell. So you get to see me fail all the time, and then you can feel better about yourself because you're not doing what I'm doing like a doof. There's a right way to do things, and there's the way that I do it. I don't know. I like to live and learn, man. I don't like to do stuff all the time that just makes me feel comfortable. What's the point in that? That's gonna have to work. It looks like booty right now because there's a bunch of graphite on the paper, and some of that ink was coming off. So if I go to do this and it doesn't work out, not a big deal. I can always just use this as a base and then hit it with a, what is the word I'm looking for? Acrylics. I can always paint over the top of it. May not be right. I don't know yet. I could use more red. I just realized I could go back over that. I didn't think about that until just now. I don't think that this is perfectly waterproof either, so keep that in mind. I might have to accidentally gradient this. Yeah, that's okay. You live and you learn. You know what I mean? You live, you learn. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to hold. Let's see if that's going to stay or not. I'm talking about these. If I were to cover this, I don't know if that's actually going to stay put. The Sakura pigment, I'm afraid, might move around. It's supposed to be water resistant. The India ink, I know, is once you put it down, it doesn't tend to move. I mean, if I can do this, that would be a big game changer for worrying about. Yeah, that works. For worrying about where this is going, but hopefully it's not spreading it too much. Yeah, it's certainly not as purple as I want it to be, but Let me put some more red in here, see if that helps. I'm sure it will, but I know I can layer this over the top of that, so I'm not too worried about it. I can always go back over this too. And it's a lot like acrylic too. It seems like it dries lighter. Yeah, see, that's more purple. Needed more red tint. And I'm trying to really push this stuff around before it dries too quick. And I don't want to have to thin it out necessarily either. It's close. It's meant to be a true recreation either. Like I said, I do have a little bit of paint left, the black. So, okay, so for the sake of doing this, I think what I'm actually going to do is grab the acrylic markers because I don't feel like breaking out all my paint necessarily just for this. So what I'm going to do is red on this, and then if I have to outline it again, not a problem. I have the markers over there, or the pens rather. So here's the magic trick. Here's the hope of it all. Let's see if we can reveal some of that before it all completely dries. Ready? Do it. Turned up. Set that shit down. Ain't perfect, but that's the point. Cool. All right, cool. The base to work from, kind of a Planet R&R goodies, which is kind of cool, actually, I think. Hopefully she'll like it. If she wanted me to do it perfectly, she would have asked me to. I've gotten to know her pretty well over most of my life. I think I know if she'll like it or not, but can't always tell. Just because I like something doesn't mean she will. It took her a while to get used to the idea of me doing impressionist style paintings. She was used to me doing, at the time, she was used to me doing cartoons and realism. But something like this, definitely different. So hopefully she'll like this. It's not done, obviously, but this is where I am so far. So I got my handy dandy acrylic marker. This is a master's touch. These are really good. For the record, not really sure why they have this little cap on these. They don't actually do anything. But like this little clip. What was that for? Who was that for? Why? For color? I guess. Cap color. I don't know. Let's see if this will work, because I know the red, thinking about it, the red's just going to blend with the purple in the back. It's not opaque enough to sit on top. Although, I say that, but I did put it on black paper. I don't know. You could. This is as red as going to get. What we could do is layer red on top of this. The difference between these and, say, like a Posca, by the way, is these don't need to be shaken. They just work. They also don't lay as much paint down. They act more like a marker. That's the name. They kind of just lay on like that. Okay. I'm trying to stay within the lines, sort of. Again, it doesn't matter if I don't. A couple of reasons. This is the reddest one that I have, so I thought it was brighter red than this. Apparently I was wrong. That's okay, though. I stopped being in such a rush to get stuff done. And I do need to get this done, but I'm saying, like, when I'm creating something, like, I'm trying to find a finish line anymore like I used to when I was younger. I want to hurry up and get it done, which, I mean, yes, you want to get as many things done as possible so you can get some mileage, but at the same time, it's okay to keep working something till you're happy with it. Or if you make, in this case, yes, there is a mistake to be made because it's meant to look like my wife's logo, and don't do that right, it's not going to look right. So I want to make sure you can read it. First off, that's the entire point. These are acrylic, so they do dry very quickly. And then once they dry darker than you would imagine, of course. And so if I want that really, really red look, you have to let these dry to get that red or darker color. But they will hold whatever brush stroke or pen stroke, marker stroke, whatever you want to call it. I'm getting kind of clumsy there. Whatever you want to call it, a brush stroke, pen stroke, I don't know. Whatever marks you're laying down will show up. Keep that in mind when you're doing this. If you use these, I'm saying. These are really cool, though. I do like them. I actually bought these to draw on my guitar, pick guard on one of my guitars. It came out really cool. I think that's pretty good. It's not as bright as I want. It's a little pastel looking. That is okay, though. I think it's going to get there. If I can get this whole thing sort of unified looking, I can still throw ink on it again once it dries. And it doesn't take but a few minutes to dry. Because, again, it is acrylic. It does dry really, really fast. Worst of it comes, and I can't get it as bright as I like. I do with the ink as well. I do have the regular acrylic marker. I mean, acrylic paint. Again, it's okay if I go outside the line a little bit because I can and will re-outline it. So by the time I do that side over there, this is basically dry. So they layer nicely because of that. Take a little bit, like I said, they aren't quite the same as Posca pens where you can just lay down a bunch of paint at one time. So these are a little bit more controlled, like a regular marker, but they're not as fast as a Posca is. And yes, I do have Posca. I don't actually, technically my wife does. She has Posca pens. I think I used them once. There's a few. She likes like the metallic stuff, so lets you know how much paint it's gonna take. If it's still pushing the pigment around, then you know it's not dry. And not a problem, you just wait for it to dry. So I gotta let this dry up a little bit. It's got a little bit, you can see a little wetness. I can anyway. And so I'm gonna let that dry. But this is dry. The ink dries really, really quickly. So now I'm going to redo the goodies down here so you can see it better. Okay, I know I'm going to be leaving this alone now, so it'll be fine. Opportunities to fix what I didn't like before, so there we go. It's a little darker than I intended it to be. I probably could have thrown some white on there, but that's all right. If she really needs me to, I can highlight that a little better. I can make it a little different than what's online, or I can always lighten up the background. Throw on something else. We'll see what she thinks, and then we'll go over there. We'll go from there. That's not too terrible. Not the worst thing. Again, if she wanted it to be perfect, she wouldn't ask me to do it. No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't want me to do it this way. Now, let's try it. Try the hard thing. Let's see if we can sable line it this way. Oh yeah. You know, give it some texture, some love, some interest. Some life, I think is what I was going to say. Probably should have waited to line that too, but like I said, it's not actually, the script on here digitally is not perfectly even. So a little bit of over is fine. Painting with inks, I suppose, today. I was going to do a landscape, actually, or something to that effect. I was like, you know, I really need to get rid of this canvas. It's been sitting there for a while now because we were waiting for her to do her office, and now we have her office, and now I need to get this done. Yeah, that is much better. This ink is really vibrant. You cannot tell. Cartoon blood red, you know, very, very, very bright. It's really pretty. I mean, this is like my favorite shade of red, basically. It's like the purest form of red, this ruby red like color. I don't know if it's primary red necessarily, but technically primary red is not even the primary. I'm just talking about the old master style. Old technicality. I don't know what I mean. Print primaries is what I'm referring to, or the actual primaries of color. But that's just in print theory anyway. That's how we're able to print things that look realistic, is using CMYK. But blacks, true blacks in nature are rare. When you go out and look, you usually have some kind of shading to them. You might go, well, when I take a picture digitally and go in there, it's black. That's because you took a digital picture. It's between 0 and 1. Something has to be 0, something has to be 1. And that 0 is going to be the darkest, and the 1 is going to be the brightest, and you get artifacting. I mean, you can get some pretty realistic digital photos, but if you just go out and look, that's the difference. Just that some of it's fine. I just don't want to overdo it necessarily. I want you to still be able to see sharper points, sharper lines. Some of it oversprayed is fine. That's what makes it look interesting. But I want you to be able to read it. Cool. I think that'll be okay. All right. We have a little bit of white spots on there. Well, I guess that's going to have to be it. I'm going to let that dry up a little bit, just a few minutes. And then I'm going to see what she thinks, and that'll be it for today.
Oh, it's really pretty.
She likes it, folks. She likes it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Very pretty.
All right, that's what I wanted to hear. So you know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and all the things. If you liked what you saw today, yeah, you know, helps out with the algorithm gods. And she likes it, so that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? Till next time, peace.